You're very welcome to Kickin It with Sensei. Today we're joined with Sensei Steve Hiscoe of Hiscoe JiuJitsu in British Columbia. You're very welcome, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. And could you tell our audience a little bit about your background in martial arts?
So I started in jiu-jitsu, specifically in a jiu-jitsu style called Kanryu, which just stands for Canadian System of Jiu-Jitsu. And that was in 1975 when I was about 7 years old, so 45 years ago. And so when I started, my parents got me involved, obviously at that age. And then a couple of years later, my father joined the dojo as well. So jiu-jitsu kind of became a family affair as I was growing up. We're both still involved. My father is in the Ottawa area of Canada, and he's a 9th degree black belt in Kanryu Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm a 8th degree black belt in Kanryu Jiu-Jitsu. So that's kind of how we started, was, because of my my parents getting me involved.
Oh, excellent. And you teach a system called Kanryu Jiu-Jitsu. Can you tell us a wee bit more about that system, maybe?
Yes. So Kanryu Jiu-Jitsu was founded and created by a gentleman by the name of George Sylvain. And he started the style based on a couple of different things. He had been in the military as a military police officer and had been over in Germany. So he got the opportunity to train with a lot of different military instructors and combatives instructors. And he was also a 4th degree black belt in Chito-ryu karate and a brown belt in judo. And what he did is he kind of took the best of what those systems had to offer at the time and came up with Kanryu Jiu-Jitsu. And Mr. Sylvain recently, as recent as this week, passed away. And so one of the things that we're hoping is that we'll be able to sort of keep his system alive, in his memory.
Excellent. And my condolences too about Sensei. But and just as you mentioned there, the karate, the judo, it's funny, my own system now, Shinken Goshin Jitsu, was formed in the 50s by a judo guy and a karate guy that got together.
Right.
And there was a bit of jiu-jitsu involved in it too. But I've noticed from watching your YouTube, the two systems are very, very similar. So
right. Oh, that's awesome.
Probably similar mindsets now. But what do you think the benefits of training martial arts is?
I was thinking about that last night, and I guess it depends on where you are in life. So, I was asking my students, my children's students not that long ago, why they thought their parents had enrolled them in the dojo. And everything from confidence to self-esteem to fitness to social and making new friends. And it was ironic because the one thing that was kind of, the last thing they were thinking about was the self-defense aspect.
Yeah.
And so for kids, I think, and actually this morning we're just doing a bit of a story time, and it was all based on self-confidence. I think for adults, it is, fitness, and I think a little bit of confidence maybe, and the self-defense aspect. And I think some of them as well are looking for a different way to get into exercise and fitness, and rather than kind of going to the gym and running on the treadmill or doing weights, this is a more interactive way of being able to to keep fit and learn a skill at the same time.
Definitely. I've always noticed a great camaraderie around martial arts. It's that you don't get in most gyms, kind of thing. There's a kind of a family feel to most of them now, but
yeah, absolutely. When I first moved, so I grew up in Ottawa, and I joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So that is my full-time job. I'm a police officer, and I've been with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for 32 years. When I moved to British Columbia, there was no jiu-jitsu in the area where I was. There was taekwondo and karate and judo. And so I thought, well, I'll join up with the karate school. And they were really the first martial arts people that I met create a really good bond with them. And through them, that's where I started teaching jiu-jitsu in British Columbia.
Yeah. And I know too, you've got a great YouTube channel. You've had it going for quite a while now. And
Thank you.
what first persuaded you to launch the YouTube channel, and when did you first put it online and kind of take the stuff that direction?
Yeah. So we started, so I have another jiu-jitsu colleague and student who created the YouTube channel Submissions 101. And it was very much based on Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So what I did in 2012 is I created the Hiscoe JiuJitsu YouTube channel. And really it was mainly a reference or a channel to produce reference material for my own students and for the other sort of students that we have across Canada. So my father and I, when Mr. Sylvain, the founder of Canryu, retired from jiu-jitsu, we took over what's called the Canadian Jiu-Jitsu Union.
Yeah.
And essentially it's an organization for the instructors to have a little bit more information and better their skills as instructors. So we have schools across Canada. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll do this YouTube channel and be able to kind of have the reference material out there for, you know, our affiliates and students across the country. And from there, it kind of, you know, blew up into something a little bit more. And so what you see there is, you know, is what we have. And you can see the progression from 8 years ago to where we are today. And, you know, even just in the way that I look, and, you know, I've kind of a little bit more fitness over the last few years. And yeah.
Excellent. And I was actually looking at your YouTube bit earlier in the week now, and I seen a video you posted a few days back, and it was based around story time and courage, and you had one of your young students on. I thought it was a great thing to do. Will there be more videos along the lines of these in the future?
Yeah. So where we started, or the reason that I started that, was because of COVID. And obviously our school is closed right now because of that. And so I don't have any FaceTime with the kids. So this was one way of introducing some other topics, because we're not just about kicking and punching, but we want our, you know, our students to have a little bit more, you know, benefit from training in martial arts, and also demonstrating to the parents, you know, some of the other values that we, you know, hold important for the kids. So what we decided to do is do a story time. My wife is a preschool teacher, so we have a lot of, you know, resources and whatnot. And so yeah, so we decided to start that. So every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We just finished one this morning on self-confidence. And so I'll put that one up in the next few days. So yeah, so we just take the time to kind of go through the story with the kids, and then a little bit more after that with you know, some topics for the kids that are a little bit older than our 3- and 4-year-olds. And so that's what you have. That's what we came up with for story time.
It was an excellent video. No, it's a very unique concept, kind of. But
yeah, well, thank you.
And I know you've also got your HEAT program. With you've some of the content posted on YouTube as well. Can you tell us more about this?
So the HEAT program is stands for Hiscoe Escape and Evade Tactics. And what we wanted to do, which again, different than most martial arts schools out there, is give the kids, you know, something that if an adult is threatening them, or, you know, is trying to kidnap them, or is give them some tools to work with. And some of it is awareness based, and some of it is technique based, and, you know, making, again, something for the parents to show them that, you know, again, it's not just about kicking and punching. We're concerned about the kids, you know, and it's not all about the playground, like school wise, but it could be just when they're out there. And we use the you know, the concept that, you know, why do we put our kids in swimming lessons? Because if they're, you know, by water, or, you know, playing around a pool and they fall in, they know how to swim, they know how to protect themselves. So this was kind of that same concept of being able to give the kids some strategies that, you know, if an adult is trying to hurt them. And, you know, the toughest part is that, you know, as a police officer, and I think, you know, we all know that, you know, yes, there are strangers out there that want to hurt our kids, but, you know, most of the time, people that hurt kids are people they know, right? So it could be a relative, it could be a family friend, it could be a coach, it could be, you know, it doesn't matter. So one of the things that we really try and impress on the kids is, you know, their awareness, how they feel around that situation. And what we really try and focus on is the kids interacting with their parents. So not keeping that secret, not keeping, you know, whatever might be troubling them to them, but, you know, opening that gateway so that they have conversation with their parents. And, you know, things as simple as, you know, somebody says, hey, this is our little secret. As soon as you hear that, that means that it's not a secret. I need to be telling somebody. And so that's kind of where the concept of heat came from, but also in the sense, so from a business side with our dojo is all the kids groups are broken up into age categories. So we don't have 7-year-olds in the same class as 12-year-olds. We went with what we call our preheat, which is our 3 and 4-year-olds, and then our raw heat, which is our 5 and 6-year-olds, and our pure heat, which is our 7 to 9, and then our extreme heat, which is the 10 to 13-year-olds. And that way it allows us to teach things that are specific to the age and their understanding and their physical ability, and then use that as building blocks as they go through the different programs.
Yeah, excellent. It sounds an amazing program now. And I know you keep mentioning about it's not all about kicking and punching, and totally agree with that. But what do you think the mindset of a martial artist is?
So, you know, for me, I think the main mindset is, you know, the survival aspect, right? So coming from a law enforcement, you know, background, I use a lot of that to impress upon my students. And my student base is all over the map. You know, we're not like an MMA gym where we're training fighters and all that kind of stuff. They're really that middle class all over the board, from the, you know, 16-year-old kid who, you know, might have trouble fitting in and is looking for some confidence. And I have one student who is a 72-year-old lady, and everything in between. So, you know, for me, the mindset is, you know, one is creating a friendly atmosphere for them and safe atmosphere for them to come and train. But for them, the mindset, you know, is that when you really need to use what we're learning, you need to kind of flip that switch in your brain to say, okay, it's, you know, it's go time, and I need to, you know, defend myself. But not again trying to, you know, create killers and that kind of stuff, but really trying to impress on people that awareness piece. And if something does happen, what can you do to protect yourself?
Yeah, excellent. And what do you feel you've got in life from martial arts, from being a martial arts practitioner outside of the dojo? And
yeah, you know what, I've been blessed that I have, you know, a lot of things that have come out of my martial arts, you know, training. I have many good friends, and still today that we, you know, get together if we're doing a camp or something, and people that I can call upon for advice and things of that nature. You know, we talked about the confidence and the, you know, self-discipline and those kind of things. So that's really helped in my policing career. So, you know, when I was 18 years old, I was teaching a group of kids, and one of the dads had kind of that life conversation with me, right? It was kind of like, so what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, well, I'm going to teach jiu-jitsu. And it was kind of like, well, can you really make a living at that, right? So it was, you know, how about policing, and he was a sergeant in the RCMP at the time.
Yeah.
And so that helped me, gain a lifelong career, which is going to help me, when I retire and all that kind of stuff. But as well, I've been able to take my martial arts training and my law enforcement training. And now what I do is I'm a staff sergeant at our provincial training academy, and I look after the provincial use of force program and firearms program. So that, without kind of having the martial arts background and all the things that I was doing would not have led me into, that portion of policing and that portion of my career where I'm able to, in jiu-jitsu, we help teach people to protect themselves. Well, I've been able to do the same thing in the policing aspect.
Yeah.
So I think, that's another avenue. Traveling, I've been able to, travel to different places and train with other instructors. Things like this. Technology is great. We have friends in Hawaii that we try and make it every year to go and train. So, what a better way to go and have a vacation and train jiu-jitsu at the same time. People in Australia and England. And so it's been really, fortunate that way as well.
Yeah.
And now because I've been doing it so long and I've been operating Hiscoe JiuJitsu for the last 28 years, is really giving it to other people, right? So children that are coming into the school, adults that are coming into the school, and hopefully changing other people's, lives for the better through martial arts.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I have students that have moved away to a different part of the country, and they sent me a message that the kids were at the playground, and this older kid was picking on the younger brother, and the older brother, who is only 6 years old, kind of jumped in and went, "Hey, leave my brother alone," and sort of protecting his little brother. And so the mom sent me a message and said, the confidence that he showed to stand up to this older kid that was bullying his little brother, they feel is a direct impact of them training at the dojo with us.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
you kind of hear those comments, and it makes you, keep going, because it validates, the hard work and the good work that we do as martial art instructors.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of my favorite things too, to see a student coming in and just progressing, and the confidence building, the self-belief. It's unbelievable to see. Even over a short period, you can see a massive change.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Like, even with our our 3-year-olds, and some of them are really outgoing and some are not so outgoing, and we've had 3-year-olds sit on the side of the mat. It's a 30-minute lesson, and they will cry for 30 minutes. And I've been that parent where I've had a child at an activity not want to be there, and we sort of work with the parents and say, you know what, every week it gets better. And then the next week, well, maybe they only cry 15 minutes and they do a little bit of exercise. Well, that's better than crying for 30 minutes. And slowly and slowly, you see them now, they get on the mat, they participate, they do the whole 30 minutes, they do their test, they get their next belt, and they're a totally different kid than they were the day they walked in.
Yeah, definitely. And what would be your favorite part of training? Would you prefer sparring or forms, swordsmanship, or philosophies?
So for me, the favorite part, I think, is just working different hold escapes. We kind of have our basics that we refer to as, kind of blow, throw, blow, hit them, get them on the ground, hit them again, the real basic meat and potatoes. And I think what I really like is kind of more the art side of jiu-jitsu as well, right? The being able to move to, different wrist manipulations and after throw controlling techniques once they're on the ground. That's one piece that I really like. And when I have the opportunity to train with other instructors and whatnot, I kind of look for some of those things from them, and and try and remember them and apply them. And So that for me is the, the part that I really enjoy. I'm 52 now, so the sparring aspect we don't do a ton of. The weapons, if I were to say the staff would be the one that we work with a little bit, but it's not a big component of our jiu-jitsu style. So yeah,
definitely. My daughter would love that now. She's very on the ground control, as you say, blow, take them down, blow again. But she loves that control aspect after.
Yeah.
And she's been asking me for 3 years to ask her to show her how to tie someone up like a pretzel. I suppose sometimes she's going to learn, but that's a lot of fun now. But and have you done much weapon training in the past? Have you or?
The only, I think, real weapons training that I've done, like I said, was with the bow a very long time ago. And that's, really the only reference that I have to give my students is what I did a long time ago. A little bit of sword work over a weekend when I was visiting in England with some jiu-jitsu instructors there, but nothing that I kind of really retained and still work with. So.
No problem. And what advice would you give a young martial artist starting out now in their journey?
Stick with it. I think that would be the biggest thing is stick with it. And I think the same thing for parents is, we see kids that are doing really well. And then I don't know if it's the parents want to do something different or the parents don't want to drive to the dojo the 2 days a week. And they're like, we're going to take a break. And as soon as they say that, they're never coming back. And, so I think it would be, stick with it. I certainly didn't think when I was 7, 8, 14, look forward to where I am now. And, with the career that I have, with the dojo that I have, with the traveling and the friends and the lifestyle, that piece. It's not a glamorous lifestyle, but it allows, me to kind of do different things. Yeah. I certainly didn't envision that when I was, a kid. So I think it's, stick with it. There are a lot of benefits that maybe we don't see at the time, but if you look into the future, it's all there for you if you want it. I have a couple of, some great students that their classes are during the week, but every Saturday morning they're at the dojo helping with the little kids. And, Logan and Grayson and Kira and Callie, they come out and, now they're starting to see how to teach and how to interact with the younger kids. And so my goal for them hopefully is that, once they hit kind of that 16, 17, that they're still with me, that they are, taking over some classes and then they'll see, the benefits of what is there. But I think for me as their instructor is also to nurture that, that growth and that learning, for them and let them see what is there for them if they want it.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to see the younger generation kind of coming up and teaching now. Like I know with ourselves, we have a traineeship program where the students still showing talent for teaching.
Right.
We would put them into the program and they kind of maybe 3-4 years, we would slowly coach them on how to teach classes and then promote the assistant and eventually until the instructor.
Right.
But, it's a great program now. And if you had to go back to the beginning yourself and put a white belt around your waist again, was there any particular system you would like to learn or?
Yeah, you know what? I'm very happy with the style that, we've been doing, and that's why I've stuck with it for 45 years. And I did put a white belt back on about 3 years ago. So I did start doing some Brazilian jiu-jitsu and now because of COVID, obviously not doing it, as much. So I'm a blue belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and I'm working my way through it and using that opportunity to work with my students as well and incorporate it into, our dojo. Like I said, our school started because of karate. So I did go back and put a white belt on at the time and, went through the Shotokan karate up to third Q. And so I was really happy with that. And because it also helped build a bigger foundation for the jiu-jitsu that we were doing, the footwork and striking, and, with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the Gracie jiu-jitsu, the, ground aspect of it. So always looking to kind of, build a little bit better foundation for what we're already doing.
Yeah. Do you think it's important to cross-train these days and kind of incorporate other systems and kind of see what they're doing? And
yeah, absolutely. So I think if we think that the only thing out there that we are doing is the best is, narrow-minded. I have some friends that are very traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu. Hanshi Michael Seamark in Vancouver does a Japanese style called Kokudo, and it's, his instructors in Japan, and he cross trains as well in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I have some other friends, the same thing. So, there's something to take from everywhere.
Yeah.
And, there's a different way of looking at things. And I mean, yes, a front kick is a front kick, and a hip throw is a hip throw. But I think when we look at a lot of the other techniques, especially if we're open-minded and creative, I think there's things that we can take from others. And also, depending on what you want out of the program, right? If it's just about, blow, throw, blow, then yeah, there's maybe this much, out there. But I think we also need to make it interesting for our students, and being able to kind of give them, some new techniques and some new things to learn. And as I kind of, grow older a little bit, it's not just about the self-defense aspect. It has to be, about the learning aspect as well, and the art aspect of it. And, giving them, because if you do the same thing over and over and over and over, yes, you're going to be super awesome at it, but at some point it's going to be a little bit boring, right? And you see it from the students, because, once they've been there for a little bit, they're thirsty for knowledge, right? Like, what else is out there? What else is out there? Which then means, as an instructor, you need to go and find different things to be able to, to introduce to them.
Yeah, definitely. I've always noticed I started as a boxer when I was a kid, and then kind of went into jiu-jitsu, and through my teens done a lot of kickboxing, karate, and then returned back to the jiu-jitsu systems. But I've always noticed in sparring, I've always been able to get in close and get the hip throws quicker.
Right.
And I always put it down to the footwork from boxing.
Yeah.
It was just a totally different aspect of footwork, so it worked very well now. And finally, what's your reasons for training martial arts now, and has it changed since you first began 45 years ago?
So yeah, I mean, it changes as you go through, right? When you're 7, it's, it's not really you that wants to do it. It's your parents that are putting you there for, all of those benefits we discussed, the, self-discipline, the, the respect. Parents think that we're going to teach their kids about respect, and, so the confidence, the fitness, the self-esteem. And then I think when I got a little bit, older, when I was in my teens, now it was just an activity that I really enjoyed doing. And, at that point, I was teaching and being an assistant. So I think it gives you a sense of value and a sense of worth and a sense of belonging, where you have something and you feel, confident, you feel good about yourself because you're teaching other people and you're getting that message, to others. And then once I got into, my adult life, my, let's say, early adult life, now I have my own school, and it's about developing, other people and, other black belts, and introducing Canryu Jiu-Jitsu to them. And now at this point, I guess it's still a little bit about the same, but also about my own family. And, I have 3 sons. I have one that's a junior black belt who no longer trains. I have, and that's who the student when you referred to in the courage video, that was my son. So he's 8, and he started a couple of weeks after turning 3 in our preheat program. So now it's about, you know, hopefully giving him kind of that, you know, that passion to keep going, and, you know, I guess see the family business and, you know, what we do as Hiscoes, I guess, my father, myself, teaching jujitsu, and hopefully, you know, he sees that and, you know, sees that as a future for himself as well.
Yeah. It's great to see our own kids coming up through it too. And I have 3 daughters. They all train with myself, but the oldest one's a judoka as well, and middle one would be big into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the youngest is a kickboxer.
Right.
It's great to see them coming on, and but they all want to be instructors, but they're all kind of branching out in their own directions, but all bringing it all back as well. So
excellent.
There's many a night they come into the dojo, and they would teach us something that we've never seen before.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
The 8-year-old one night teaching us trying to teach us a tornado kick.
Okay.
But, I think in our 30s we were a wee bit past tornado kicks, but it's great to see it now. But finally, I know you have a great YouTube channel. We've mentioned it on here. And where else can people find you online?
So I'm on Facebook just as Steve Hiscoe, and we also have another page for the school, Hiscoe JiuJitsu, and on Instagram at Sensei Hiscoe. I try and keep it all the same, and yeah, those are really the the key places where I'm at. Our YouTube channel, Facebook, and on Instagram.
Excellent. I'll put links in the description of the videos if you want to post it. So it was an honor to have you on, Steve.
Yeah, no, a total privilege to be asked to do this, and meeting you on through this forum and whatnot. So yeah,
it's excellent.